Hi folks, it's Switchback. I made a video a couple of years ago about my first aid kit, and of course in a couple of years I have made a few changes, so I thought I would update you. Another quick update is that I am currently working as an emergency room nurse, and that frankly doesn't change a whole lot about what I carry in my first aid kit. There's really not anything extra special in there that I would not recommend to non-medical people. Now that said, don't waste your money, the weight, or the space on gear that you don't know how to use with the rationale that someone on the trail might know how to use it. If they know how to use it, they're probably carrying it, and they probably won't know to look in your backpack to find whatever it is. So just don't bother carrying things that you don't know how to use. Links will be in the description of all of these items as best I can. I recently bought the General Medi first aid kit out of curiosity, quite frankly. It's a decent starter first aid kit. It does not come with any medications, so be sure to add your own if you do decide to get something like this. I also picked up the practical survival kit, which I left at camp, but we'll go through those items as well. So quickly, let's go through these kits and why I chose what's in them. These mosquitoes or something else, man. All right. I will be permethrining everything when I get home. Oh my God, this is killing me. So like I said, this General Medi first aid kit is a good foundation and start. I would not rely on this exclusively. But again, let's go through here. So there's some rolled gauze, doesn't weigh that much. Some really skinny tape, not too bad. Don't ever use this tourniquet for anything, ever. Do not use this as a tourniquet. It will absolutely not do anything for you. As a pocket face mask, which if you have to give CPR, some cotton-tipped applicators, a lot of safety pins. I'm not quite sure why you would need this many, maybe to hold together a wound. Let's see, an emergency blanket, which is definitely always a helpful thing to have. Some alcohol prep pads and iodine pads. I really wouldn't use the iodine out in the field so much. A couple of 2x2 sterile gauze right here. This is a triangular bandage, which is a good idea to have with you, and you would need at least one of these safety pins in order to use that effectively. A ton of Band-Aids in a variety of sizes. You definitely don't need to carry this many at any given time. At least not on a backpacking trip. Some moleskin, which I personally have replaced with Leukotape, but moleskin is a good start. Some sterile saline, which can be used as an eye wash or to clean out a wound if you really needed to. Some scissors. I haven't really tried these to see how sharp they are, but they'll be good for something like the moleskin, for example. Some tweezers. A pair of vinyl gloves, which are usually junk, but they'll do in a pinch. And then 3x3 sterile gauze. So I may take some of this and add it into there, but most of these things I already have in my kit. But this will be a kit that I'll probably leave in the car, just because it does have a lot of things that are helpful. Oh, and it also has antiseptic wet wipes. Those are one thing I did not actually have in my kit, which I thought was a pretty good addition. So there's the General Medi stuff. We're back home now, but let's go through the practical survival kit here. I generally do carry this on a day trip. I wouldn't carry this on a backpacking trip per se, but it does have some useful stuff inside. In addition to the carabiner, which is definitely not intended for climbing, this has an emergency bivvy, or a tube tent as they call it. It has a couple of ponchos. This one is thermal, so for colder weather. This one is plastic, so lighter weight, and for less cold weather. It also has an emergency blanket, an emergency sleeping bag, basically Mylar, and then it comes with a few stakes for the tube tent. And then this also comes with some line. Well, I'm not gonna dig it all out, but you can see it there. So that's the lineage. But I kind of like that this one is more natural colored. You want to have other stuff with you that is better for higher visibility. Whoop. Let's see, we're gonna tie a little knot at the end of that now. Hey, we just lost a few grams. All right. And of course you could take off this little carabiner, I mean, I'm not sure that it's doing a whole lot of good anyway. And again, you can shed some grams that way. You could take just one of the ponchos with you, depending on the weather. You could take some different stakes. These are not my favorite style, but ultimately for what this is, it's pretty awesome, I have to say. And you could, of course, take it out of the bag if you wanted to as well. Additionally, on basically every hike, I have my waist pack on. And if I don't have my inReach on my shoulder strap, then it is going to be on the waist belt of this. When I'm backpacking, I always like to have at least 2 lighters, just in case somehow one fails. But for day hikes, I might just carry one. And then I have some chapstick that has sun protection in it. I have my Swiss Army knife, and this particular one has the blade, which I don't really use, the nail file, the scissors, which are probably what I use the most, the tweezers, the toothpick, which I don't really use. And then if you wanted to attach it to something, you certainly could. And then this is what I use for an actual knife. This is my Gerber Paraframe Mini. And this is the straight blade. I find that it's the most useful versus a serrated blade, but you know, to each our own. And I like that it's a locking blade, so it's not gonna fold on me. I have to actually use that to close it. And it has a little clip on it, so if I wanted to put it in my pocket, I could do that. So let's talk about, this is what I have been carrying before getting this, aside from the candle, of course. I do have gloves, and there are actually more in here. I carry tenacious tape for all kinds of repairs, and then I also have the patch kit for my sleeping pad in here. I have an emergency blanket, which I have used before, which is why it takes up this much space as opposed to the little tiny pouch. I have 2 cat tourniquets. These are actual proper cat tourniquets, which are the only kind that you should ever be carrying. And if you want to know why that is and why I carry 2 of them, then click up here to see my video that is 100% just about properly using tourniquets. Then we have my first aid kit right here. And I bought this little pouch from Cloud Gear about the time that I made my last video about first aid kits, and I love this kit. It is the one thing I have that is made of Dyneema, and if you want to know my thoughts about Dyneema, that's up here. But I like that this is waterproof, and I wanted something that was really obvious to people if somebody else had to go into my pack to find my first aid kit, that this would be it. I have to carry an inhaler, so I carry that. Of course, any medications that are specific to you need to be in your first aid kit as well. In here, I have burn gel with lidocaine and triple antibiotic ointment, which I may actually be removing from my kit because a lot of the docs now are saying that it can do more harm than good. But talk to your doctor about making those decisions. I have Zofran, which is a nausea medication, prescription only. Hydrocortisone cream. I have a safety mirror here for any kind of signaling, or if I need to do a tick check or check to see if I have anything in my teeth. In this little pouch, this is kind of the miscellaneous bag here. I have baby aspirin right here. I have Benadryl. The aspirin is in case someone is having chest pain. The Benadryl is in case of an allergic reaction. Again, any of this should be discussed with your healthcare provider, not with me. I have Q-tips or cotton-tipped applicators. I have earplugs just because this is a convenient place to keep them. Nail clippers for different things. I'll pick those up later. A sewing kit because you want the needles and you can suture things up if you really had to, which this would not be the ideal way to do it, but anyway. A tick key, which absolutely I would recommend anyone and everyone have with them. And I have a very loud whistle in here, and I am not going to scare everybody around here by blowing it, but this is very light and very loud. Oh my God. I'm trying to get this thing. Okay, let's try doing that. There we go. Got it. So that is bag number 1. Then I also have alcohol swabs and hand wipes in here. Like I said, I've added those to my kit. I have a variety of Band-Aids in here. I tried doing the straw technique This is triple antibiotic in addition to what's in here. This was a spectacular failure, and I may or may not release that video. We'll see. But I will never be using this technique again, partly because I can never reseal this on the trail. Like if there's any of that gel in there, it will not reseal. So it's a pain in the butt, and I would not want to be dealing with that out on the trail anywhere.
Ooh. Well, there goes that.
I have steri strips, which are something that can be used on a wound that's open and you need to keep it closed. I have skin glue, which is for similar purpose right there. I have a handful of variety of different Band-Aids in here, but not nearly as many as are what in that. And then I have some sterile 2x2 gauze here. So this one's kind of the bandage baggie right here. And obviously you can organize your kit however it works for your brain. I like not having everything loosely in there just because then I just like it being organized and easier to find things, and then things don't get lost on the ground if I have to pull it open and that kind of thing. So in here it says Advil, but it's actually naproxen. I prefer naproxen personally, but do whatever works for you. I have Tums because I go through these like candy, especially on the trail. If I've been eating, Mountain House meals or something like that, I end up with terrible heartburn. I have Quick Clot, which is for if you have profuse bleeding from somewhere. So this is a hemostatic gauze piece right here, basically to increase clotting. So you would use this, push down, hold that down. I have a triangular bandage. This is actually the same one I have been carrying since high school, but I still have it here. Obviously has never even been used, but I hope to never need it. I have this tape, which you can see the difference in the width of those two. Just a little bit of what's on the roll here. I didn't bring the whole roll with me. I have gloves. So like I said, in addition to the other ones. And then this is the Leuko tape right here. And I just put this on some wax paper, but I cut it into little strips, and then that way I can cut off a little piece of it. Your first aid kit is one of your 10 essentials of hiking, and the 10 essentials are things that should go on every single hike with you, whether you're doing a half a mile day hike or you're doing a through hike. And if you want to know about the 10 essentials, then be sure to click on this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you got value, like and subscribe, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.